Self-hypnosis for healing is never to be used in place of medical advice. Hypnotherapy is a self-help modality, and if you suffer from any major health or mental health illness, please consult your doctor before participating. Never listen to any hypnosis while driving a car or operating any heavy machinery or doing anything else that might be dangerous or require your full attention. I am not, nor do I claim to be, a licensed physician or mental health therapist. I am a certified American Board of Hypnotherapy hypnotherapist. Welcome back to Self-Hypnosis for Healing. Today we're going to be continuing our inner child work with one last sleep session. I do want to thank you all again for sharing and continuing to share this podcast with whoever you feel might enjoy it. I've been seeing my numbers grow and grow and grow, and it's 100% due to people like you sharing this podcast with people that you think would benefit from it. So I am genuinely so appreciative. It's just such a great feeling to see something that you've put so much of your life into starting to grow like this. So I'm so grateful. Please continue to share this with anybody that you think could benefit from it and would resonate with the sessions that we're covering here. I know that you guys all really love the sleep sessions. They're the most popular sessions I have, and I'm so honored that so many people fall asleep listening to these beautiful, relaxing, spiritual sessions. Still working on it myself. Lately I've been falling asleep to Game of Thrones, which is not the best. It's a little on the violent side. So I think once I finally finish that series for the second time, I am really going to buckle down and do this, make myself do this until it works and start falling asleep to hypnotherapy, because I want magical dreams. And I think that's how I'm going to get there. I do want to encourage you guys, even though I know you all love the sleep sessions, I want to encourage you to start really working in some of these other sessions as a daily part of your relaxation time. Hypnotherapy is a very powerful and non-rest sleep state, or non-sleep rest state. There it is. And I think for me, when I'm integrating hypnotherapy into my day instead of scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, or if you're under 25, Snapchat, I guess. If you reach for, the podcast app, open this, or whatever it is that if you're using the Calm app or whatever else you might want to listen to, I think if you're starting to integrate hypnotherapy into your everyday relaxation practice, you're going to find so much more calm and peace in your life. You'll find that you're starting to move through your day deliberately and slowly, not getting less done, just doing it with less stress. You're going to find that sense of peace is really building up inside of you. So that's what I find. And even knowing that, I know it's so hard, because even knowing that, sometimes I don't do it. Even though I know I feel so much better when I do. Sometimes it is hard to make yourself do the thing that you want to do, but we all know that growth and change comes from effort, and sometimes doing something that you feel might be a little bit more uncomfortable, even though you're actually going to get very comfortable and relaxed. It's weird that our brains want the information or the stimulation, even when they're tired. So anyway, what I like to do when I feel like maybe doing hypnotherapy won't be the easiest thing for me, or to ease myself into doing more hypnotherapy, is I'll start with the more healing sessions. The Connecting to the Earth one is always one of my favorites, or energy healing, or I'm not sure which episodes I've done in this series, to be honest, but anything that is more healing. And actually have a plan to go back through and sort of label them. So instead of just saying what the session is, I'll kind of put like healing : in front of the title so that you guys can sort of scroll through and pick up more like what you're in the mood for. So I can label belief change ones, I can label healing ones, things like that. Just write in the title so that it'll help you guys to be able to scroll through and pick the ones that you want easier than, having to think. So as we're finishing up this inner child work, I've been sort of contemplating, why do we do this inner child work, and spiritually, what's it doing for us to connect with that inner child, and why do we all have this sort of longing to re-experience childhood and what was there that we're not getting in our daily lives, and why does it fade, And I think that we're born into this world so beautiful and pure and connected, straight out of the spiritual realm, bam, into these like bodies that have limitations, and we're loved and nurtured as children openly. We don't get that as adults. Often our love between other adults and things like that has sort of maybe even some rough edges to them. It's really difficult to find unconditional love as an adult. And we get that as a child. But we're also exuding unconditional love. We're so close to the spirit world, and we don't have all of these judgments and critical thinking like we do as an adult. And those things are great, and they help us move forward in life, but they also hold us back from experiencing love. And sharing love, to be honest. And when we're children, we sort of let things roll off of us easier. Whereas as adults, we've been hurt so many times that we're kind of ready for it. And then we're like, oh, there's the hurt right there. So, boop, wall goes up. So maybe we can start to take down those walls a little bit, and like, instead of being like, boop, wall goes up, how about, what's wrong with you? Like, who hurt you to make me feel hurt? And maybe we can meet each other with a little bit more grace and compassion instead of just expecting to be hurt and seeing the hurt and getting a little rougher from that. And I'm also really working on finding that balance between taking care and loving myself and loving and being compassionate to others. But I think that there's probably, for me at least, there's definitely more room for me to say, what's going on with you when someone hurts me, instead of saying, okay, well, now I'm putting a wall up because you didn't listen to my sentence. That's literally what happened this morning. My dear husband has a ADHD problem. It's not really a problem. It's a superpower, right? But something comes up on his phone and he has to go attention to it. And so what that ends up being a lot for me is I'm talking to no one and wasting my energy talking to no one. And that starts to get hurtful after a while. But I think there's definitely more room for me to say instead, like, okay, this is, like, how hard is it for him to not be able to focus on the thing that he wants to focus on, Instead, I'm expecting him to always combat his ADHD, which is hard, So anyway, I'm just trying to say that I think there's room for all of us to set aside our own hurt sometimes. And I think that opens us up for more experiences for love. And I think that feeling more loved and safe, and truly this is self-love, because when you're feeling more loved and safe because you're not as reactive to other people hurting you, you're allowing yourself to feel more safe with that person by understanding maybe where that action of hurt is coming from. And then by feeling safer, and more loved, you're able to become that expression of love again. Does that make sense? Like you were as a child. And the more you're able to accept and express love, the closer to that universal love, that whatever you want to call it, if you call it God, if you call it the universe, if you call it spirituality, the oneness. But the more that you are able to experience and express love, the closer you become to that feeling of oneness and connection with everything. What I'm trying to say is that the more that you connect with each other in an open and loving way, the closer you become to that person you were as a child that didn't have so many rough edges yet. And that maybe one way we can start to connect is really asking, when someone hurts you, where is that hurt coming from? And sometimes it's valid, and sometimes it's, okay, well, I need some space. But sometimes you can say, maybe again, you might say, I need some space, but then when you reflect, you can say, okay, this was coming from their own dysfunction or their own pain, and it's okay to trust them. Maybe we look for the love instead of look for the hurt. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Is I think a lot of times we tend to look for the hurt, for that self-preservation, that ego that has learned that in order to survive in this world, it needs to start to put up some barbed wire fences, because your ego is really only born out of your survival instincts and your self-preservation and the survival instincts that you have for your family members or your close friends or your people. That's all the ego is. It's just you trying to survive. And so if we're on the lookout for that ego and trying to maybe reflect a little bit more after we're just in this one little area, just after you've been hurt by someone, and usually it's your spouse or your parent or your close family member, try to take a step back and look and see where your ego was hurt, where it came from in their ego. See if you can get back to a place of love, because it's just better for you. That's what I'm working on anyway. I know that was kind of a tangent, but as we finish this Inner Child week, I really want to help us start to get back to that space we were in as children, where things felt more magical and pure and loving. So I think we're going to continue on after this with some sessions around love. So I hope you'll keep listening and keep trying to be better than you were the day before, because that's all we can do, is just keep trying to be better. We're not going to be realized beings probably in this lifetime. If you are a realized being and you'd like to give me some life advice, I'd love to hear it. But I think that we're capable of just being better, and that we shouldn't stop trying to stand for love just because we feel imperfect. All right, I'm getting off my soapbox. I don't even know what that was. I guess some stuff needed to come out today, guys. But I really appreciate you all. I love connecting with you every week, and I hope to see you next week.